Greetings and salutations, YouTube viewers. This video is going to be my Cloud surgery video. As you can see, it's various pieces here. I'm showing you my Shinra Troop and Cloud. Cloud broke his leg, so I figured I might as well just go ahead and make a more original figure since, well, that's what I was gearing towards to begin with. Tools of the trade, blah blah blah. The idea is that I wanted to take Cloud Strife and turn them into Cloud Seaton. So I decided to go ahead and to make this video. This is some concept art I had that I really wanted to get him to look like. It didn't quite turn out the way I was intending, but I think this is some good pieces, and maybe down the road I'll make another figure that's more in line with this. So I decided to make him more of a basic warrior soldier than starship personnel. But I figured that there might be some people out there who are curious as to how I exactly make my figures when I customize them, and I figured that this video might explain some things. It's actually a lot longer than I wanted it to be, and I'm hoping that I can fill it up with some commentary for that time. It's about 13 minutes long, roundabouts there. But I mean, that's a lot shorter than all the footage I have. I have 5.5 hours of footage that I shot of the making of this, and I got all this equipment, my Dremel drill with the saw bit on it, and the goggles that I put on there, and that little vice grip, and I'm doing this here because I wanted him to be able to bend at the waist. Cloud as a figure does not bend at the waist for some odd reason, so I had to make it that way. And I had a heck of a time trying to figure out a way to also make him turn. And this piece here is a spinning screw on a washer that's attached to a washer. And I had two of them, and I was going to put them together. Then I decided just to use the one and drill out the center section of his waist to plug that into, because that would give me the turn without making him look preposterously tall at the waist. Chiseling out his midsection there, and I'm giving here some. I put some shots every so often to show my progress on what I'm doing with the character, so that you get a good idea of what's going on. Like, I'm drilling holes here for that big wooden stick I'm going to put there for the waist, and you'd be surprised how well a little tiny dowling rod works in plastic. The figure doesn't, like, if you've had action figures, you know that they tend to the joints tend to wear out, and then the character won't stand up, or the hip joint, it keeps falling over. But with these little tiny dowling rods, you can drill your own hole out, and the plastic it'll create friction with the plastic and the rubber and the hard plastic and all that, and it won't come loose like that. So I thought, hey, why not? And it turned out pretty well overall. As you can see, it's working there. And I had to take the whole waist joint apart because, well, it was weak, and I needed to expand that hole there so that the metal piece would fit in there, so that the spinning screw would fit in there. And lo and behold, that joint right there was the waist to allow him to bend with, and the upper portion of what was going to be glued on top of the washer that fits in on top there, like you're seeing here. And the whole piece would just sit right on top, and I had to file down the edges of that washer so that it wouldn't look ridiculous. and that would be more flat and even with the character base, which is kind of nerve-wracking when you're filing down metal with a drill. You don't want to set fire or put your eyes out or have something go flying off and skewer your flesh. Well, that's always fun. Everything's pretty self-explanatory here. What did I use those toothpicks for? I may have just been using them to pick with. Oh yeah, to pick with right here. The epoxy scalper on the edge so I can get the flesh contents on there. Epoxy scalp. Wonderful material. You get 2 containers. One is a white or a quote-unquote flesh color, and the other one is the mixing base. It's kind of a dark gray material. And you get equal portions of each of the materials, and you roll them together. And you get this clay, like it's clay, and you rub it and form it onto the shape that you want in the figure, and within a few hours it has hardened. For it to be completely hardened, it takes 24 hours, but I find that it hardens pretty good after a couple hours, and they get a good firm portion of it. As you can see, I'm spreading over the shoulder blades, and the shoulders are actually the hookups from the Shinra troop that I unplugged and made it fit to the Cloud shoulder so that I could use the arms from the Shinra troop. Because that way I could have exposed arms on top and it wouldn't look ridiculous. It's still kind of a weak connection. I'm not real pleased with the total sound. I mean, it'll do its job, but I'm hoping to do another figure down the road to be more. I'm gonna have to make an armature, an interior skeleton, and just make a figure to fit around that. But right now, I just wanted a figure to use for my Silent Cloud film that's coming up, or series. It's a 6-part series that I'm making now. I've written the scripts. I've gotten everything laid out. And my Cloud, once he broke, it's like, well, hell. So I decided to go ahead and revise that. I'm about halfway through. Hopefully I'm not getting sick of. If you've gotten this far, you're obviously not sick of my voice, and you're kind of curious as to how this plays out. I really wanted to make this under 5 minutes, but I don't know that you would have got a firm grasp on how everything was made in under 5 minutes. And this is a long process. I mean, even though I had 5.5 hours video, it still took me a good 17 to 20 hours altogether to create the figure, which was worked on over a number of weeks. I used a foam paper cutout for the covering there so that when he bends it doesn't look totally unnatural at the joints. And here's it coming together, and you can see how that's working a little better and covering up that waist area where I cut into his torso in order to make him be able to bend. And one thing about these figures I don't really much like, Playarts has got some awesome figures, but their joints suck. They break so easily, and I can't tell you how many of my figures I've had to drill out the joints and replace them with metal rods and ball bearings to try to get them to fit back. Like you can see there at the waist, this line there, those pieces there will break off on the leg. Then you have to drill it out of the leg, and then make get one of those little tiny rods that you find in like those wooden armatures you find in like Hobby Lobby or Michaels, and run that through there, cut it down to size, run it through there so that it won't break while I'm animating them. That's kind of a pain in the ass. It's coming along there. I just gave him a very generic leather looking things to sit on their shoulder pads and body armor, just to say, oh yeah, he's a warrior, a soldier, he has armor, he's not yet a starship captain, quote unquote captain. And I'm painting it white as a base. It's a primer to get him ready for painting, because at this point I've already gotten everything done. I gave him little battle marks on his armor and everything. I know this is zooming by, but it gives you a good idea of all the processes I go through to make this. It actually looks pretty cool, you know, just a flat white. But, you know, sometimes it's, yeah, you obviously didn't want a full painted character for at least a margin of believability. And I kept the eyes, too, on that head, so that I didn't want to repaint his eyes, so I just kept them from the figure before. And put clay over it so it wouldn't get painted over. And the reason I'm doing this all black here, after painting it white, is that this is supposed to be a wash, so that I can get the shadows in the background. So the white is a primer, the black is a shadowing, and then I can go and paint it with the overcoat. And this purple color I'm using here was very shiny. I'm wondering if I shouldn't have just kept it shiny, because I like the shiny purple. It's really cool as a shiny purple. But then I put a flat coating of sealant or protector stuff. I don't remember what it's called right now. It protects the paint from getting scuffed, and it made it rather flat, so it's a flat purple now rather than glossy. This is showing some detail work in my painting of the figure. Yeah, it's almost over now, and oh, look at that, he's coming. He's coming together. Oh, he's looking good, roughly, I guess. I ended up making him a little too dark. He's almost Native American. Not that that's a problem or anything like that. It's just, the shadows didn't come across too well in that leather, but. And I was going to have a centerpiece on him, but he really looks stupid with that protector on him, so I decided not to use that in the end. I wanted to use one, but it just looked dumb, so I took it off. And here's the flat purple you're seeing on there, and the final colorizations. Yeah, I think I took the clay off his eyes there, though you can't really see it too well from this perspective. And, yeah, alright. And you see his eyes there, he looks kind of almost crazed. I didn't realize that one of those eyes was kind of like looking off to the side, so he almost looks, I don't know, out there. And here's where I'm putting the doweling rod through it and cutting it down to size. I use the hairdryer for the joints so that you can pop them in and out easier. It expands the joints to allow you to take the pieces apart. And his head, I put so much padding on his shoulders that now it looks like he has no neck. I'm kind of disappointed in that, but it'll work. It'll work. Alright, and there you go. Cloud Seedon. The character, the one and only, the one that shall be showing up in Silent Cloud. Return to Offender. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video informative, and go out and make your own figures. Oh, that's so not very clear, but yeah, you get the general gist. Stay tuned for more Star Cloud.